Do you know what's the number one problem among my students taking the IELTS speaking exam? It's idea generation, coming up with long answers. So that's exactly what I'm going to help you with today with my amazing answer strategy. Hi everyone, I'm your IELTS tutor Jack, and if you're new here, make sure you say hello, subscribe to my channel and become part of the IELTS Plus community. In today's lesson, I'm going to give you my amazing answer strategy. And this is particularly for students who only answer with one sentence or two sentences and they don't know how to say more. I'm going to teach you the strategy first, show you how I use it, and then give you a few tips and tricks at the end. So what's the strategy? Let's start with a simple question. Do you like reading books? So step one is to give your normal, direct answer. So just one sentence as follows. Yes, I love reading books, but I don't have much time nowadays. So a simple answer, very direct. Step two is you must go back over your answer and identify the key pieces of information. In my case, it's reading books and free time. In this case, I don't have much. So reading books and free time. Now we move on to step three. Step three is you choose one of the pieces of information. So I'm going to choose free time because I think there's a lot I can say about that, and then dig deeper. So you choose one piece of information and dig deeper. Here's what I'm going to say. I'm really busy with work at the moment, so I come home late every day. So that is me elaborating, giving more detail on free time. I'm busy with work, so I come home late. And that's it. Now, the best part of this strategy is that you can repeat it and go deeper and deeper and deeper, and actually you can give a never-ending answer. So I could look back at that sentence and say, okay, work, come home late. Work, come home late. I'm going to go deeper on my work. I'm a software engineer, so I spend a lot of time in front of a computer. Or I decide to talk more about late. I often come home around 8 or 9 o'clock, so I barely have enough time for dinner. As you can see, this is not a complicated strategy, but it allows you to develop more and more content without too much pausing and without having to think too deeply. You're always just picking information and going deeper. Picking information, going deeper. I like to think of it as mining. You find some information and dig deeper. Find some more information and dig deeper. That's my strategy. Now let's look at how I use it with some slightly harder questions. Firstly, what do you miss most about being a child? I miss playing football and hanging out with friends. In this answer, our information is playing football and hanging out. Playing football, hanging out. Let's see what I choose to elaborate on. I played football every day in the nearby park. Okay, so obviously I chose football. Now I have two new pieces of information. Every day and nearby park. Let's see what I do next. The nearby park has a huge football pitch which is free to use. And there you have it. So that's 3 sentences to answer probably a part 1 question. That's a typical part 1 question. And I can keep going. 3 sentences is enough. I always say 2 or 3 sentences, but I can just keep going and going. Let's try another question. Do you believe that climate change is a serious problem? Yes, climate change causes dangerous weather patterns and disasters. Okay, this is a bit more complicated, but as you can see, we have dangerous weather patterns and disasters. Let's see what I choose to elaborate on. In my country, winters have become colder and summers have become hotter. Okay, this is obviously not disasters, so this is dangerous weather patterns. And there are 2 main pieces of information, summer and winter. Summer is unbearable. It's always over 30 degrees and it often rains heavily nowadays. And there you go, I've gone into a bit more depth on summer. So that's my strategy. That's how it works with some slightly harder questions. Now I'd like to give you a few tips and a few extra notes on this strategy. Firstly, it requires practice. It's very easy for me to give an answer, show you the writing, and then we develop it from there. But obviously in the test, you'll have to do this all in your head and very quickly. This takes practice, but it's doable. You just have to notice what you're saying and then at that time, choose which one to elaborate on. Secondly, you'll notice that I've given very simple sentences with 2 simple pieces of information. You may not do this, and I recommend that you don't. You should be saying more. You could be giving a full example or a story, in which case you can apply the same strategy. You don't have to go over the whole thing you've said, but try to remember 2 things that you've said and go deeper into one of them. Finally, this is just one strategy. I have several strategies for my students, and you should too. You should have several methods to develop content. But if you're struggling, this strategy may just be the one for you, and you may find yourself giving longer, better organized answers. So why don't you give it a go at home? I think a good question for you to answer would be, what do you miss most from your childhood? So give me your answers below and try to give me 2 or 3 sentences in your answer using today's strategy. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and don't forget, give me a like, subscribe to the channel and become part of the IELTS Plus community. Thanks so much for watching today, and I'll see you very soon. Bye bye.